E9, you're a happily married man. I think we should ask this one. I mean,
yeah, this isn't gonna ruffle any feathers.
No.
Okay.
I'm
ready.
We have enough to compliment.
Yeah.
Too.
Celebrity crush, whether now or growing up.
Ooh, celebrity crush. Boy, I did not expect that one. Yeah, usually you guys lead with like the actor.
Yeah,
that
who do you want to be or whatever.
And I had mine, you know, it was like,
all right, give us your actor too if you got one.
Well, I mean, Matthew McConaughey, like I've definitely been like
100, put 100 in the jar. You basically look exactly
No one's
alike.
ever picked like an ugly actor for them to be like, you know,
but I get McConaughey and I've gotten Adam Scott. And I swear to you, I've signed some autographs as Adam Scott when I was on tour full time, when we were playing in the same event and people would, Adam, you know.
Mark, we're going to need another jar.
No,
This thing's going to overflow.
sign Adam Scott, right?
Yeah, there you go, kid. Good on you.
This is when we had like kind of the same like hair in the back.
yeah, the
we
little
sort of had the
Tyler's
similar
hat.
face structure.
Yeah,
Both skinny.
yeah.
All
All
right,
right, so crush though.
Celebrity crush. I don't know. I'm a J-Lo fan. I like Halle Berry. I'm kind of a little more old school. You know,
Perfectly fine.
That's a fucking great
You're
list.
stealing Slitz's girls over
We
here.
got nobody left now. Thank you.
no wonder we get along.
Yeah,
so good, man.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's good taste.
I like
All
it.
right, I'll take both of those as acceptable answers. All right, as a chef yourself, you could speak on this. Is it true that you got cooked by Barack Obama pickup basketball game in Hawaii? I heard he just diced you up.
Yeah.
And did you let him?
He's actually So we played. It was 2000. It was 2008. He had not been inaugurated yet, but he'd gotten voted in as president.
President-elect.
End of 2007, I believe. Right? He got voted in. Or maybe it was end of 08. So anyway, and he had gotten voted in, but he hadn't been inaugurated yet. And so he was playing basketball. My dad was his coach, and so my brother and I got invited to go play a pickup game with sort of his old teammates. And as I subbed in, I happened to sub in for the guy that was guarding him. And so I was like, do I like go hard?
Yeah.
Right? But there's also Secret Service.
The sniper will shoot you in the face.
Yes, 100%.
What a way to go.
It would have been awesome. But I played him hard on defense. I did not score on him per se. I had a layup, but he wasn't guarding me at the time. But I did not score on him, but I played him pretty hard on defense. I would say that I probably gave up 2 baskets, which I may or may not have been going 85%.
If you foul, you hard foul.
No, I was not fouling.
I was not fouling. I mean, I just
Not
like,
fouling.
hey, go
No.
right there.
I was not going to foul.
Yeah, watch your
Mr.
step.
President.
Don't forget to use the
But
backboard.
he was so cool. Like really,
Can he play?
he can play.
He got buckets on you. Of course he can play.
Once I started to notice he wanted to go left pretty hard, I started shifting him over right.
Yeah,
but
smart. Muscle him up a little bit too.
send him right. Yeah.
All right, next one. Phoenix Open this year. You're out there getting your guys ready to go, dialing in the short game. All of a sudden, 150 dudes in chef hats come rolling out. At any moment, did you think they were there to see you coach a little?
I would have.
I mean, I would like the thing that's been so weird about this whole like chef thing, right? Is that, you know, I played on the PGA Tour for a handful of years. I won on the PGA Tour, rarely got recognized anywhere, right? And I start this short game chef thing, and I will walk through an airport and people will say, "Chef." I'm like, you never recognized me when I was a PGA Tour player, right? So I get recognized more for being short game chef than I had been for a PGA Tour player. Yeah, when I saw those guys, I was like, God, this Minwoo is just taking it to another level. No, it's pretty cool. I think it's cool that he's gone with that.
I heard today how that all happened, by the way. So I guess Lululemon put out this promotion. They gave like 200 guys shirt and pants, and they just had, and the hat obviously, and they just had to go out and cheer on Minwoo. That's genius.
For the
It is
genius.
genius.
Yeah, just to create a little hype reel.
Yeah, we should do some collab together.
You should
It'd be
get him in
fun.
the kitchen.
Yeah,
Cook him.
yeah.
I love that kid. By the way,
I would
he's
just
my
sit-
new favorite guy. By
I
the
would
way.
sit there and just ask questions.
I love
like
him.
He's
His swing is all his shits. His little stash is filthy. His whole setup.
his whole vibe.
Primo.
And you look at him and you're like, you just look
He's
at
a
him and you're
star.
like,
he's gonna be
totally
in
star.
2 years. We'll look back and be like, remember when we didn't even
But you
really know
look at
that
him
much?
without opening his mouth, and you're like, oh, okay, I got it. And then all of a sudden he opens his mouth. He sounds like exactly like Jason Day, like
awesome.
same tone, same accent. And you're like, was not expecting that.
And that move is sick. Sidebar question doesn't count as a real question. What else was in the running as opposed to chef? Did you ever consider any other? Are you gonna be like the
I mean,
you know,
as I was creating this whole thing, it was like short game wizard, short game guru, short game genius, short game whatever. Like all those sort of things sort of popped into your head, but you're like, no, those are all like very self-serving. This one was more like, no, I'm a chef. I'm gonna give you guys all the recipes as to how to get it done around the greens.
Got it.
It's always been about the people.
Yeah, put the cook hat on too. You know what I mean? Lean into that shit. Salt Bay maybe a little bit.
You should bring up
the more gimmicky shit you do, the more people will just gravitate to it.
You should bring up the text thread that me and Keith have on the different ideas.
Me and Keith, we've solved the world's problems, dude. We have every idea ever figured out.
It's only an hour show, guys.
If you ever want to go massive. Oh, I forgot to ask you the question Keith submitted. I'll ask you later. All right, this one. Better for your self-confidence. Winning on the PGA Tour as you did, or having your wife voted as hottest wife on the PGA Tour, which you also did. That's good.
That's a good one. Yeah, no, I would say the second one is better. Yeah, she's a 10. Still is a 10.
That's like the Grand Slam.
Yeah,
of cool shit.
No, yeah, I mean, she beat out Elin, she beat out Amy McLachlin. Like that was when, like back in the day, right? Like those are the people.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Those were the people she was competing against.
Back when there was hot chicks, not all these dogs.
No,
number one in the official world wife rankings. That's nice.
Yeah, in my book, she still is. She's a 10. I love her.
I got paired with him a lot early on, right when I was getting sponsored. Actually, in the first ever tour event I played at Byron Nelson. So my mom and his wife walked together all the time. I was like, God, you get a tour card? You get that? That's a pretty good gig.
Shit, sign me up.
Holy.
She got a sister, too.
Yeah, well, all right, next question. We better move on.
Tough break night.
You don't want me to tell that story?
No. Have you ever been given a shout out by the great Bill Walton?
Oh, my gosh. This was a great story. So the legendary Jim Decker and I go to Las Vegas. And we're going for the Pac-12 tournament, and it's at the MGM, and Jim Decker is a legendary gambler, and so we've got all the VIP things that you can imagine. Jim Decker may or may not have won a handful of money at the blackjack table. I had to pull him away to go to dinner. I was like, look, you're up a lot. Let's go to dinner. So he's like, we go to dinner. He's like, thank you for pulling me away. So then we go to the game. They got like 3 games in a row, and so we're going to go catch the last 2 games. We go down and we're sitting courtside, feet on the floor, and Bill Walton is literally from me to Stoltz, away from Decker, right? And Decker's like, yo, it's like, I know Bill Walton. Like, I was like, I know you know Bill Walton, but Bill Walton does not know you.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
He's like, no. Actually, Bill Walton knows me. I was like, he does not know you. So sure enough, Decker says, there's breaks, and Bill Walton's taking his headset off, and he's standing up, and Decker says, hey, Bill, Jim Decker. I was at the Michael Jordan fantasy camp 12 years ago. Do you remember me? Do you remember me?
I had to sit crossover.
Yeah. And he's like, it was up in camp, and he's like, oh, he's like, Decker. He's like, lefty. Yeah. You had a great bank shot. And I don't know if Bill Walton really remembered this or not, but it was like Decker, it made Decker's life, right? And so anyway, Bill Decker says, look, here's Parker. He played at UCLA, and Bill's like, oh, great to meet you. Play on the PGA Tour. It's great. UCLA Bruin. So they come back from commercial. The cameraman's sitting courtside, and Walton tells the producer, like, hey, we want to start talking about these 2 guys that are sitting courtside. Nothing's going on with Washington versus Washington State. So the cameraman turns to us, and he's like, yo, Bill's talking about you guys. So turns out that Bill says, look, I got to get the camera on these 2 guys. This Jim Decker, he's the greatest thing since Steve Nash. He never made it, but he had the great little left-hand floater off the glass. And he starts telling, and he says, like, Decker's like, its life is made, right? He's watching Bill Walton, from me to you, talk about how great he is in this Jordan basketball camp. He's like, the lefty floater was to die for, and he should have made it, next greatest thing since Steve Nash. And then he goes over to me, and he's like, oh, Parker McLachlin, he's UCLA, he's one of the great golfers out of UCLA. Meanwhile, I'm like 19th on the list of greatest golfers ever out of UCLA. But you know how Bill Walton does it. But it was one of those highlights where you're like, if ever somebody could talk about you, you would want it to be Bill Walton, because he takes it to the next level. And it's one of those moments where Decker and I we always laugh about it. It's one of the great stories.
I heard there was a little more to that story, where there could have possibly been an incident with a USC player.
Decker was getting in that guy's head big time. Oh, he almost got thrown out. This guy almost came over and punched Decker.
And then y'all ran into him at the casino, but he didn't recognize Decker.
Exactly.
God.
Decker's like, hide me.
That's awesome.
Hard to believe.
Oh,
Decker,
some legendary stories.
oh my God.
Yeah.
That was in like the prime.
That was
primo
prime
Decker
Jim Decker.
era too,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes, he's toned it down since then.
All right, my next one. Let's see. All right, just give me. You used to live with Ricky Barnes, one of your closest friends in the world. Give me the worst traits of Rick as a roommate.
Oh.
Break down Rick as a living partner.
Wow,
anything
it's been
bad?
a minute.
I think you'd be pretty damn good.
I tell you what, Ricky makes a sneaky good breakfast, right? Like he cooks the eggs, scrambled eggs perfectly, low and slow. Like he's one of the legends at cooking breakfast. He's always making bacon, right? You look at his physique and you're like,
Dude, he
this
eats
guy,
everything like he's perfect, like with
Yes.
his eating.
Yeah. And so he's a great breakfast maker. He's always up early. Even after a big night out, dude's first one up making breakfast.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can
He's a
talk about
fake
his
drinker.
work. I've
I've seen him go for real.
Of course he's
He goes for real.
He can send it.
And he always has everything. Like, hey, dude, does anyone have a Band-Aid, a paper clip, and a ball of yarn? You're like, yeah, what size Band-Aids do you want? Like, he travels with everything. It's like MacGyver.
We call him 7-Eleven because
Dude, he
like
has
even
all the shit.
on the golf course, right? Dude, I'm hungry. Oh, what do you want? I got a
want a
bar. I've got
I have old filet that I just
I've got jerky. He always has jerky on him.
Oh, jerky. King.
Yeah. No, he's got 19 different snacks in his golf bag. We used to call them snacks because he'd have 19 snacks in his bag. So I don't know if I don't think he had like a bad trait.
I think
like,
he's probably solid. Yeah.
Yeah. He was always, and the rent was the right price. So yeah, he was a great roommate.
Yeah, nobody has more shit with them at all times than Ricky Barnes.
No.
If you get bored on the golf course, need a Sudoku, he's got one.
He just crosswords like between shots. I'm like, what are you doing?
We were partners in New Orleans. We're walking down the fairway in the tournament. And he's doing a crossword Sudoku. I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's a fact.
Yeah,
good.
like 100-year-old man.
Yeah. No, it's great.
All right, next one. What's a better hangover cure? Liquid IV or Dr. Dre's famous song, The Next Episode?
Another good story. Yeah, so I was down visiting Ricky Barnes at U of A, and I was at UCLA, and we had a night the night before, and it was an unbelievable night, and we just went full tilt. We get up the next morning. We're supposed to go to the football game together, and I am just like, Ricky, I'd puked like how many times, and I was just like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. He's like, here's some Gatorade, just. You'll be all right. You'll be fine. And I was like, Gatorade wasn't working. It was coming back up. So anyway, he just says, he says, look, man, he's like, the game's about 30 minutes from now. Like, we got good seats. We got to go. And he throws on some Dr. Dre. He cracks open a Coors Light. And it was like, let's go.
I'm back.
I'm back. And we sent it.
Said it was like that WWE guy or whatever that just popped like he's dead, and then he just as soon as like next up he's like, dude, he just popped up like someone had just given him a shot.
No.
Of, like, whatever,
Weekend at Bernie's, dead. Music comes on, bam.
Like, you know what? I'm here.
I was dead out on the couch, and Ricky got up at 6 as he does, goes out, goes to 7-Eleven, gets a bunch of snacks and stuff. He's like, hey, get in my bed. So I got in his bed, and I was like, I'm going to be out for the day. Sure enough, he puts on some Dre, and we were like, let's go. I was up and ready to go. Yeah.
He's a good little like caretaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew just
He
the
knew
right
exactly the recipe for the chef to get you back up. All right, my last one from me. Is it true you tried to come back to UCLA for a 5th year when you found out that the golf team would be posing nude for Golf Digest? I heard you tried to slide back in.
That would have actually been my 6th year. Yes. And I would
So you could be a doctor.
I would have. Yeah, the picture with the golf balls right here.
Yeah, I feel like that's you, dude.
I was really disappointed that I was not part of that, because I was like, I felt like I raised those guys, right? I was like the only senior. There was no juniors on the team. I was the only senior, and there's a bunch of sophomores and freshmen. And so I was like, man, I raised these guys. We're in the gym. We're all getting yoked together. Sure enough, the next year they're on the cover of whatever, and I'm like, God, I missed that.
Forgot about
Think with that.
that.
Yeah, remember that? I think with that could have launched. Who was it? It was like Merrick,
Travis Johnson.
Travis TJ was in that thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember like the young kids or whatever. But I was like, that thing came out and it was like, what the? I was like, UCLA is wild, dude. They get the range balls over their nuts.
I mean, the
OnlyFans,
difference,
they would have popped off.
the difference from when I went to college of like what golf was looked at when I went to college was like 97, right? And so Tiger had just kind of come on the scene. Golf was still kind of like nerd. You're a nerd if you play golf. Then all of a sudden Tiger wins and it's like, whoa, golf's kind of cool. And then by the time I leave 5 years later and these guys are on the cover of whatever Golf Digest looking like naked with golf balls in front of them, it was like, wow, like look at where golf has come. Like these guys are real athletes. So it's like it made a huge shift from year 1 to year 5.
Yeah, after 97 for sure.
Yeah.
All right, next one. There's going to be some math involved here. So put that UCLA brain to work right here. What's a larger number? Okay, the margin of victory for you at Reno Tahoe, or the number of penalty strokes you took on the 7th hole at Quail Hollow?
I'm gonna go penalty strokes. Yeah, so that's a good story.
Carry the one.
So the 7th hole at Quail Hollow, dog leg left, par 5, and I was working on I was always a little low kind of heely cutter, and this hole never set up well for me. But I was working on something in my swing to try to hit this like high draw. And I was just determined, right? It was like mid part of the year. And I was like, I've been working on this for like 5-6 months. Like this should be ready to go. And I hit this thing and it just goes over to the right. And there's water there. Now it's a water hazard, but then beyond the water hazard is out of bounds. It's a guy's
Rather
yard.
nice houses.
Really nice
Big
houses.
crib.
Yeah, like I'd love to be friends with those people. And so anyway, so I hit this shot and it looks like it goes in the water. So I'm walking up there. I think I was paired with Martin Laird and Stuart Appleby. So I walk up there and we get all the way up to the water. I was like, is this all right to drop? And I can't remember which one said it, but they were like, actually, I think it went over the water and it's in their house. It's out of bounds. And I was like,
Could have told me this on the tee.
could've-
Before I walked 300 yards.
Yeah. So now they're like, you're going to have to go back. The call the rules official, he's like, yeah, I mean, if they think it went over there, you got to go back. So my caddy, Don Donatello, legend of a caddy, he grabs my driver and 3 golf balls and leaves the bag there. And we ride back.
So much confidence in his man. He's bringing a sleep.
Just in case.
This is great.
We ride back to the tee box, and already on the tee box was Davis Love and Ryu Jimata. Now, granted, Davis Love was probably like one of the guys I idolized growing up. And I remember the first time I played with Davis, and he hit this 3-iron off a tee that went like my 9-iron on like 235, 240 hole. And I was like, I can't pull the trigger. Like I had to hit after him. I was like, I can't. So anyway, I already had this thing on Davis Love. I was like, I can't even. So now I'm hitting 3 off the tee with Davis watching me hit the exact same shot into this guy's backyard. I was like, give me another ball. Tee it up again. Hit the exact same shot. Give me another ball. Don, again, like tin cup. He's like, look, this is the last ball I have. The other balls are in the bag. You better hit this in play. Oh my God. So anyway, so I hit this one in play. I get up. I end up making a 13 on the hole, right? 13, 8 over par on this hole. It's not a difficult par 5.
It's one of the easier par 5s. I mean, there's trouble, but
There's trouble,
they
but
eat it alive.
Yeah. Guys eat it alive. And so I make a 13 on this hole. The guy carrying our sign felt so bad for me, right? He just removed both of the numbers off of
blank.
the
McLachlin
standard bearer.
blank.
Yeah, just blank. So people were like, I could hear him as I was walking up there, like, I wonder what he is for the day. Like, it's not even on there. Anyhow, I shoot I must have shot like 88 that day. It was a bad day. It was probably one of the lowest days of golf that I had ever had. And I love that tournament. I love that golf course. I'd played well there previously, but I was going through this whole swing thing and it was like, I could not find which way the golf ball was going. So yeah, little 13 on number 7 there.
It's beautiful.
So it sounds like, yeah.
8 over on that hole.
One, two,
But 6 penalty shots.
6 penalty shots. So I won by 7.
You
I
won by
won by a
7.
touchdown. Yeah.
That is incredible. I love that he took a sleeve of balls back to the tee. That's my favorite part of the story.